Hello everyone, this is CJ992 and today we're back for another brand new video. How are we? Are we feeling good about ourselves? Has it been a good week? So far it does. Certainly feel like that. Let's hope that continues over the next 48 hours as we're here to discuss yet another European night. So let's get into it. And the way we'll do that is I'll sit here and talk for the next 10 to 12 minutes about the upcoming game, try and break it down as fairly as possible, try to earn a like from you guys that are currently tuning in to the video and maybe even subscribing as well and help us on our way to hitting 65k as we're less than, I think, 500 away now, which is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for all your support. But let's go ahead and get into it then, shall we? And as always, we'll start off with the old oppositional preview, and that means we'll be having a look at Lyon, a team that we saw a couple years ago. Remember in that pre-season game, that weird pre-season game where Ryan Kent was cutting about looking like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Padawan edition. No wonder the laddie got sent off. And I bet none of you thought that was going to be the memory I brought back from the Rangers' Lyon's short history together. Yeah, you all thought it was going to be the 3-0 away win. Beasley, Jig, you thought I was going to mention that? Nah, it's the little rat tail because it lives rent-free in the old membrane. But I do want to talk about it and talk about this upcoming game. So jumping into the present then, and honestly this is one of the first times in a very long time, especially when it comes to European football, that I'm not sitting here talking about a side that's on a phenomenal run. An undefeated streak, they're at top of their league, they're dominating their domestic football. That seems to be what it's been now for the last couple of years, no matter the opposition that we speak about at the European stage. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Is we're here to talk about a Lyon side who at my current time of recording sit 11th in their domestic league. 11th. And I imagine if you've not been paying too much to French football and how Lyon's been doing over the last couple of years, you hear the name Lyon, you're expecting success, you're expecting some performances besides obviously PSG money that's getting flung around over the last 10 years or so. That would have came to a bit of a surprise to hear a Lyon side is sitting 10th, especially when later on in today's video we're going to speak about a couple of the key individual players and some of the talent they have, which is absolutely stacked to the brim. But again, it's not really bringing any results. So before we speak about individuals, let's speak about the team and how they find themselves coming in to this game versus us. And it's a worrying read if you're a Lyon fan, but it's a very encouraging listen if you're a Rangers fan, as we're here to talk about a side not only sitting 11th in the domestic league, as we've already mentioned, but it's the way they're playing in these games. It's only through 6 games of the season, but they've only been able to muster 8 goals for a team as talented and attackingly stacked as they actually are. That's a surprise, but they're no figuring it out, and whilst they're not scoring goals, they're actually leaking goals left, right and centre, as they've conceded 12 through their opening 6 matches as well, meaning we face not only a side sitting 11th, but a side with a minus goal difference at -4. This is uncharted territory for us right here, talking about it in the old channel. But again, as encouraging as this is to sit and look at, and as fun as this is to do and everything like that, we can't be daft enough to expect this Lyon side that is stacked to the brim with talent to be struggling for this much longer. You know what I mean? They will eventually turn it around. They have signed a lot of players this summer. They're trying to bleed them in. They're trying to get fitness up as some of the players that brought in. We've seen what that can do for our own side. You know what I mean? How long it takes to build up connections and understandings, picking up players from different leagues and trying to get them adjusted so that you can make reasoning for it. But again, they have been so damn poor and eventually will click. But I'm telling you right now, with every fibre of my being, I certainly hope it doesn't click tomorrow and they keep playing how poorly they've been, because that's been really, really poor. So poor, in fact, when you look at domestic football, out of the opening 6 league matches, they've already lost twice to 10 men. They've not been able to break down with all their talent 10 men twice so far. Now, to be fair, the first game did receive a late red card, so there wasn't much time to actually play. It was a bit of a scuffle in the 97th minute. But their most recent loss to 10 men, which sounds ridiculous when I'm sitting here talking about Lyon, of course, was actually in the 5th minute of the game, and ended up playing 96 minutes in that match. So for 91 minutes, this Lyon side played against 10 men, and they could not put them away. To be fair, they did make some changes. They did what they usually did, and that's score goals in the second half. They are well and truly a second half team, if you actually will. But even in that, they came back into the game. They scored a 93rd minute equaliser versus 10 men, but then went ahead and done a St Johnson and conceded right for the kick-off, conceding that 95th minute winner. That's how it's been for Lyon so far, domestically. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And aye, it's been as ugly as I'm trying to describe. But, and there is a very important but, because we know domestic football doesn't mean anything in European football. I mean, just a week ago, we sat and spoke about a Malmo side that were utterly dominant in their domestic league. You know what I mean? Fantastic winning run, unbeaten in this, hadn't been beat since July, winning cup competitions, doing this, doing that, yet we went to their gaff and absolutely put them to the sword and battered them into submission to a 2-0 win that should have been 5, but we didn't even allow them to get a single shot on target. Domestic dominance doesn't equal European success. We've seen it many, many times in many different teams in many different leagues. It takes something a little bit different to perform in Europe as the standard does go up. And to be fair to this Lyon side, where they've struggled so far domestically, the only ounce of European football they've played this season, because again they finished 6th last year in French football. They've no fell into the Europa League, they've not had to win their way through qualifiers. They're just in here, troops, in the Europa League. They've played 1 match in Europe so far this season, and all we can look at is how well they played, with by far their best performance of the season as they slapped down Olympiacos to the scoreline of 2-0. Now granted, it did cost, or did take 2 second half goals once again, but that's who Lyon are. They are a second half team. That's where they get all their goals. That's when they dip to their bench. That's when they bring these boys in that's building their fitness up. And aye, they looked very, very dangerous and very like the old Lyon side there, as they just put Olympiacos to the side and again swatted them down with 2 great goals and a very, very strong performance. And I think that there is enough of the story of them as a team collectively, you know what I mean? That's the story to this game versus Rangers. Hit and miss in domestic football, really poor and disappointing, you'd argue, but again, when the European football came calling, they stepped up and answered the plate with a strong performance, their best performance of their season, and that's what they're trying to replicate and build on from, as not only did they win in European football, they then won again at the weekend, so they're building momentum, they're building things in. The European game was a switch for them. Hopefully we can hit that switch right back out and not allow them to keep building up, as there's some similarities with both clubs trying to build progression after a slow start to the season, using European football as a vehicle to get some confidence. Well, we're coming head to head in the next 24 hours, and something needs to give. But moving away from them again collectively, I want to get into a couple individuals what I think are going to be very important in this game. I mean, they're led by the likes of Lacazette, that no one is talking about. Yes, he's obviously a wee bit older now and everything like that, but the boy's experience and can put the ball in the back of net, especially when he's playing in French football. It's a bit hit and miss for Arsenal, but French football seems to be his fit. Sam Lammers to Dutch football, if you actually, he will be danger. He's got that experience and he's a bit wider. They've got Fofana on the wing position as well that can run all day. They've got Cherki in the middle, who I think, for me, Cherki, the guy at number 10, will be the most dangerous player on the actual day. Everything feeds through him. It's no like Malmo where we spoke about, oh, they're all wing plays. It's all going to be this, it's wing, 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 wing. No, it all comes through the number 10. And for me, this is going to be Barron's most difficult test so far, a Rangers shirt, especially in a European competition, especially against Cherki, is he's going to have to get on them and he's going to have to stay with him, he's going to have to watch his movement, and if you can snuff him out and if you can chase him down, if you can do an Ando Herrera on Eden Hazard, if you know, there's a real chance for Rangers to dominate this game of football and take them away for the middle, because everything comes through that number 10 spot. If you actually we take that away, they're then going to have to try and do something a little bit different, and that will obviously play in the favour of Rangers. But aye, he's the one I'm going to especially shout out right now, because he is the one that's been performing for them, despite them not playing too well. But obviously there's a couple other 2 names that came off the bench in the last European performance and made a difference with a goal and an assist, and they're probably 2 bigger names that we've all heard of. The first one is going to be Said Barama, who of course played at West Ham, played very well at Brentford, scored a lot of big goals at West Ham as well. We all know what he's got in his locker, scoring goals, having fun. Now again, we're not talking about them as definitely the key men, because they've not been starting every game so far this season for him, especially Zaha. Benrahma's in a slightly different position, as he's a little bit obviously ahead of Zaha in there, but they are 2 players I wanted to save at the exact same time to break down, because for me it shows you the strength that maybe some people will try and talk down in Lyon. These are two players, Benrahma and Zaha, that didn't start their last European game, were able to come onto the game and again grab an assist, grab a goal and put this team away. They're both obviously on the wing position. Maybe Benrahma likes to be a wee bit more at the 10, but he'll be out wide. He shoots for fun. He scores some absolute screamers and he's a danger from anywhere within the 30-yard box, and I'm sure he will be looking to pop off shots if he'll have a wee cheeky shot on target. If he's starting the game, he'll certainly get amongst it. But it is that Zaha one that we're obviously going to need to talk about. He's the big key matchup. He's the one that joined from Galatasaray, and maybe the reason he's not starting as many games right now is because he's just joined and he's building his fitness up, you know what I mean? Substitute appearance here, 58 minutes here in the league, building his way up and up and up. And whether or not Zaha starts, I think it's going to be a clear key matchup when he goes on Tavernier's side, because he's quick, he drives right at his man, and he's one of the old school wingers that just loves to beat his man. You know what I mean? He's no, let me pass it back here, let me wait for the fullback to overload, and let me do this. No, he is an old school winger. He gets the ball, runs at his fullback, and he will be taking on Tavernier every touch he gets. And again, for me as a Rangers fan, that's what I'm worried about in this game. And whether or not he starts or comes on, whenever he's on the park, just watch how this Lyon side shifts from trying to play it in to the middle to Cherki to playing it out to Zaha. They will identify Tav's weakness like that and they will go after him like blood in the water, and that's what I'm a little bit worried about in this game of football, if I'm honest with you. The strength that this Lyon side's actually got in the areas that can hurt us the most, and that is that direct matchup on that left hand side. And that's what I've got to talk about this Lyon side for. They are as dangerous as they can be, especially in European football. They might not be performing great now, but on one-off games, on one-off European performances, we as Rangers fans have seen those one-off performances despite struggling in domestic football. There is clear warning signs there, and it is a massive tie with massive matchups. And if Tavernier does start this game, which I imagine he will, he'll really need to be on it, because he's a wily old fox as Zaha now. He's been around the old block, but he's still quick, still got those feet, loves driving at the box, and I imagine he'll win a lot of fouls against him. And with that being said, that's me reached the end of the Lyon side. They've got some experience at the centre mid position in their 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, whatever people want to call it these days. The two holding midfielders are Tolisso, who obviously played for Bayern Munich for a couple of years, never like got some success there. And then you've got Matic. Yes, Matic is still playing football. He's maybe not got the legs anymore, but he's been around the block. But again, for me, the key areas are that front three. No matter what way they go, is it Fofana, is it Benrahma, is it Cherki in the... Well, it will be Cherki in the 10, but then you've got Zaha out in the left, or did they go with the young lad that's been starting the last couple of games? That will be a very important front three right there, and for me, Barron needs to win his battle. I'm calling out Barron with this one, as I think he is the key man, and again, Tavernier will need to be just as big to quiet down Zaha when he does come on the park. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Not as winged heavy as Malmo. They like to force everything down the middle, but if we take that away, I imagine they'll start to identify and sniff the old blood in the old water as well. And that's it for the old Lyon side of the video. Let's get to the Rangers side. And it is funny to sit here in front of you, right? Because there's always these ups and downs, feeling scared, excited, blah, blah, blah. This Rangers roller coaster we go on together definitely puts us through the ringer. And last week, not only did I have that blunder about Big Jeff, but we were all pretty damn nervous because everyone on paper suggested that Malmo was this, Malmo was that, and we were really struggling. They were playing great, we weren't playing too great. At that point, we'd only had the Dundee win and the Dundee United win after the international break. One of them was a good performance. There was real nerves in the air, but again, we turned up to the European stage. We heard the bell, we heard that song, and we started coming out and cooking, and we battered them to pieces. And there's no surprise to me, and I know I've mentioned this before, so I'll keep it a wee bit short, that our best performances are coming in these types of cup competitions, if you will, because there are so many similarities in the way Clement sets up his team and Gio does so far. Now, I think Gio was a bit more tactical. You could see what he was trying to do a wee bit more, but Gio could get the best of us in Europe, but couldn't really figure out the part the bus teams. He couldn't figure out in the domestic league teams that he want to play football. When you look at Clement and you see the way he goes, his European away record is absolutely amazing as well, as he's not been beat. He can get us up there. Some of our best performances under Clement has came at the European stage. Then, just like Gio, it doesn't seem to have someone that can really break down these teams that didn't want to play football. And that's why, despite a fantastic win last week and on paper another win at the weekend, there is some disappointment there as we are a bit flat after what we saw at the weekend. But where there is clear disappointments in that performance versus Hibs, again, I just need to pick everybody back up to say this back and it suits us again, as we're back in a cup competition and we're against a team that's wanting to play football and who will be pushing people forward and will play into our hands. So I'm expecting, again, this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, whatever you want to say, Rangers side, I'm hoping we actually see us come back out and playing at a great level again, as this Lyon side will pile people forward, they will take clear risks and they will give us the space that if you look at our Dundee performance, that 3-0 win in the quarter-final, they won versus Malmo last week, they've seen what that space can do for us. We look absolutely unreal and our players thrive in that space. So I know people are doom and gloom at the weekend and they're trying to say Malmo's a fluke and this and this. I didn't think so. It just suits us better. Rightly or wrongly, it frustrates me because, again, I'd love us to actually figure out domestic football and start winning stuff, but European football brings the best out Rangers. So anyone feeling doom or gloom, pick yourselves back up. This could be a really, really exciting game that hopefully we'll have enough with. Now, normally the phrase the team picks itself is usually means, oh, well, all the good players are going to be playing. We know who plays. We've got a best 11. That doesn't necessarily mean that for Rangers because, I mean, coming into this game, again, just like the last recap and everything like that, the big discussion has been at left back. Who do we start? Do we start Nana, who was arguably man of the match last week in European football during his first start? Or do we start our other man of the match winning left back who played at the weekend, who's been sensational for a month? You know what I mean? We're trying to pick between man of the matches here at left back, and again, I'll keep this short because I've said it before, that conversation needs to stop happening because we as a football team shouldn't be trying to pick between man of the matches and punishing one of them for playing well. This one right here, Nana, is actually a centre-back / right-back. Maybe put him at the right-hand side and maybe as a football team we'll start moving in the right direction in all competitions, start seeing some real change if we put the team first and instead of benching one player that's getting man of the match every other week, maybe bench the ones that aren't actually playing well. So again, I'm not getting involved in the Nana Jefty argument. It shouldn't be an argument. Man of the matches and players should be picked based on their performances, and based on the two of theirs performances, both of them should be playing the Mora. And I'd like Nana's pace and power versus the likes of Zaha, because if you look at Zaha's frustrations at Palace, it was against those stoppers. It was that, because we know, no offence to Lyon fans or anything, I doubt any of them's watching right now, but they will be diving their ass off tomorrow. We all know that. Come on now, let's be honest. Every touch, holding this, my knee, and everything, that's going to be all that. So we're going to need real strength in there and composure. And what I saw for that young laddie last week was outrageous. Finana just strolled the entire game against a team that is so heavily set up to play on the wing. He shut down an entire side of the park. If we can get that for the laddie again on that side versus Zaha, we could take a major step in winning and starting this game off with 6 points. 6 points. But all this conversation's fun, and I think it makes sense. At least you might disagree with it, but it's pointless because we know who's playing tomorrow, no matter what. Is Tavernier or not? And that's what confuses me is Clement came into this season and said Tavernier can't be expected to play every single week. Then why is he playing every single week? This is a perfect chance and a perfect opportunity to put Nana at right back and see how we get on. If he stands by his word, we'll eventually see that change, but we're not seeing it, and I didn't expect it to be tomorrow. So one of the man of the matches in the last 7 days of football is going to be benched for, unfortunately, the weakest area on the park. But again, I just had to voice my opinion on it, as I know it's the big conversation point. Hefty or Nana? I just don't get it. I don't understand why we're not putting the team first. But moving on, we do have some news regarding Dujon Sterling, another potential right back, you know what I mean? And it is funny to look at because he's just signed a new contract extension to 2028. Welcome, Dujon. Glad to see the mustard is staying, because for me, he's been poor this season. I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but I don't think he has been very good this season. And I think it's came to a stage where that purple patch, you've been able to do everything and play in everywhere and play a good solid 8 of 10, eventually runs out. Your time does end and you need to get a position to solidify yourself on the park. And I thought I was a wee bit worried about Sterling honestly, before the contract stage, because I was like, where's he fitting in? Clement's not giving him the opportunity. It was supposed to be at right back at the start of the season. It's no actually happening. He's running it again with Tavernier. He's stuck his nose out for Tavernier. Where do we go with Sterling? But the new contract certainly suggests he's going to be here for a long term, so it will be interesting to see where Sterling next plays, because to me that will tell us that is what he is. Is he a right back? Is he a centre back? Is he a left back? Is he a centre mid? Is he a right wing? Is he a left winger? We'll guess, we'll find out very, very soon. And how absurd is it that I've just read out all those positions and it sounds like a joke, but that's genuinely where he's played for us. It's frightening and unbelievable. But aye, just wanted to mention the Dujon Sterling contract extension. Am I buzzing? Yes, because it clearly covers a couple of areas. But for his development and to see the best out of him, I want to see him be played in a position now. Again, why not a right back? Just give it an actual goal, you know what I mean? But aye, moving away from that, we also got the massive news that Hagi is back in training, baby. Now, unfortunately, he isn't able to play versus Lyon tomorrow. So when you see him not part of the bench and all that, Danny freak out thinking, what the hell's going on here? Well, we're all supposed to be excited. Hagi's been brought back from the Nether Realm. He is back from the Nether Realm. He has earned his way. He has reconstructed this lad's contract to play for this club. That's how much he wants to be here. He's took less money and he's sorted his contract to be at this club. Yet some people will still take shots at him while protecting others. And it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, he can't play in tomorrow's game, but he will be a part of the game this weekend. Probably the 8 o'clock kickoff versus St Johnstone, as he's not been in the European squad, which will be a surprise to no one, as he was heavily out the door and kicked out the door. But he's fully fit and ready after playing a full pre-season pretty much with the B team, scoring goals for fun, playing well. So to the Hagi people, your patience has been rewarded and he'll be back at the weekend. He just won't be a part of tomorrow. And that's sort of it, ladies and gentlemen. It was all set up to be a fireworks display once again at Ibrox. Lyon are a good side despite their struggle so far this season. They can turn it on, and they showed last week in European football they can reach their old levels. They looked very, very dangerous, but so did we last week. So let's pay a wee bit of respect to us as well at Ibrox, hopefully with a good performance, hopefully with the right starting 11 or as right as it can be, because we know he's going to make certain picks and everything like that just because. I don't know that. I was going to try and give a reason there, but it's just because, innit? You know what I mean? So I'm hoping to see Barami. Dessers, I imagine, will be massive in this game of football. He missed last week. He missed at the weekend. He's got to score this week, as those opportunities will fall to him once again, and hopefully I'm celebrating a CD9 goal to put us on our way. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Very interested to see how Czerny plays in this game as well. He should get a lot of space, but what we asking Czerny? We want Czerny to be Czerny, or do we just want him to be a vessel to hold the ball up so Tavernier can run behind him so we can pass it? If we let him be a right winger, we might see the laddie start to respond, or we might see him just bombed out in another right wing failed experiment, because we do not change what's been the consistent during that not working. You know what I mean? It's craziness, but that is where we are. Let our right wingers be our right wingers, please. And thank you. And I am very excited about the upcoming game tomorrow. I'm thinking we're going to win. I'm hoping we're going to win. And I'm going to go with the old cheeky channel favourite. Rangers 2, Lyon 1. Hopefully we do our bits. Hopefully we keep our head, because again this side throws themselves to the ground. Hopefully we then get frustrated with that and lose our concentration and do anything silly. A professional display in Europe is what's needed, and if we stay at that professional level, I think we'll pick up the win and take 6 points out of 6, which would be massive for this club. But again, they are very dangerous, so if we aren't at our very best, could get stung the more. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. 2-1, Dessers to score. That's what I'm feeling. What about you? Let me know down there. And as always, I will see you tomorrow late after the game. By the time everything gets up and everything, I'll be late once again. Apologies, it'll be about midnight, 1 o'clock, something like that. I'll try and get it up as soon as possible. But until then, thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye-bye.